began recruiting sometimes violent young men linked to gangs and crime. Croydon Mosque, for years, Hizb or HT campaigns for the creation of a global Islamic state and urges followers not to vote in the UK. They believe in Sharia law. These are not members, just regular worshippers. The group came very close to being banned last year after the London bombings over fears they were radicalising. The mosque committee decided Newsnight in the face of some hostility because they fear that groups like HT pose a serious threat to social cohesion.
We were in danger of losing the mosque. We have evidence of people applying en bloc to actually become members of the mosque in terms of trying to effect an administrative takeover. And to that end, what we did was to safeguard the future of the centre, we actually amended the constitution to make it a lot harder. I mean, this was coupled with other measures such as policing all meetings at the mosque.
The committee invited Newsnight at the mosque to make the point that they had nothing to do with Hizb or other political Islamic groups.
When Islam is under attack, what should we the Muslims say? How to defend Islam in the true way? Discussion next week, inshallah.
Though HT's political activities have been banned inside the mosque, outside the lobbying continues.
In a positive light.
There's a guy in the mosque who clearly doesn't want you guys out here. He thinks you're causing trouble. What do you say to that? Well, you were causing trouble. The truth of the matter is they didn't want you here, do they?
No comment.
You're not willing to engage? Huh? So what's the problem? But you're... Hang on a second. No, gently. Hey. Public street. Gently.
Excuse me. Why are you taking on the mob? Can you stop it? Can you calm down?
This illustrates the problem for Hizb While some supporters adopt a non-confrontational approach, others seem out of control. And some of these elements have been seen fighting outside the mosque.
There tends to be some sort of element of gang warfare. You could only describe it as that. But this gets very vicious. I mean, you know, there are knives involved, swords involved in one stage as well. You know, people, generally speaking, need hospital treatment. People have observed the same faces in these gang warfare situations as they have observed distributing literature outside the mosque on Fridays.
Literature from which organisations?
Well, these organisations such as HT and Al-Muhajirun.
Hizb denied their supporters were trying to stop the fight. Stories about the crossover, though, between Islamist radicalism and violence come as no surprise to the organisation which collected the recordings of Bakri Mohammed. The Vigil group has given Newsnight exclusive access to an undercover source inside Hizb
Jay has been supplying intelligence our network for the last 7 months. The intelligence that he's been supplying has been on a volunteer we trusted. And why? Because his family was a victim of terrorism, and he feels that he owes quite a bit to this country for having looked after him and his family.
Do you think it's reliable?
In the past, we've had absolutely no reason to doubt. A member to me in the network has debriefed him fully, and from what we found, the evidence is waterproof.
What was the atmosphere? Jay describes how he was recruited to become part of a secretive cell.
Where I'm taught at is called a cell, which is a kalaka, and there's 5 of us only, plus the mushrif.
That's the teacher?
Yes, plus the teacher. I know for a fact that we are a number above 50.
So that implies there are more than 50 cells in this area?
Yeah.
But these were no university students he was joining. They were, he says, violent young men already linked to crime. To become a full member, he would have to find another 5 recruits. He says it's built like a pyramid.
They've been told that it's all right to hurt non-believers. You know, if you're a non-believer, you mean nothing to them. You're worthless. The loyalty to the group, I had to show it in a really rough way. They actually asked me to take some money from 3 guys.
By force?
By force. And I went there and I had to ask those 3 guys, I'll take whatever you have right now. You know, I threatened them and they gave me the money because they saw who I was with.
Hizb ut-Tahrir made with our organisation, it's a bunch of hoods. What do you say?
That they would be lying. This is Hizb ut-Tahrir. These guys made me swear to Hizb ut-Tahrir. They asked my lawyer to Hizb ut-Tahrir, and they actually made me swear on the Quran as well. You know, and not only that, there's the teachings, the papers, they have Hizb ut-Tahrir all over it.
So you're 100% sure?
I'm 100% sure.
Jay says he attended a motivational meeting in the back room of the Croydon Mosque, where he was shown videos of fighting in Iraq. But the event which seared his mind took place in a private house, where the mushrif or teacher put on a DVD purporting to show abuse at Guantanamo Bay.
One of the clips I've seen, apart from seeing guys being tortured and being battered up and being chained up and being left naked on the floor, to me there was one really strong clip when they showed a lady interrogating a tied up prisoner.
Jay says the scene was staged, but the others in his cell were convinced that the images, which then showed an extremely degrading assault of a sexual nature, were real.
And what were the fellow brothers in the room saying at this point?
They were angry. They were really pissed off, you know. One of them was saying, you know, it's fucking Americans, you know, they're evil. You know, they're there to hurt us, they're to destroy us. You know, why they do this to our people. It really triggers something up in their brains, in their emotions, in their mentality. You know, that they were willing to kill people for this.
When you saw those images, did you think it was real?
This stuff looked real.
They believed it?
They believed it.
I find it very difficult to understand why an organisation like HT, which we were told by the Prime Minister in August 2005 was going to be banned, was going to be outlawed, why that still remains within the law. That the members of these groups, as I'm sure you know, they are expecting any moment to be banned and they're making preparations for that banning. But we can't allow those sorts of organisations to flourish.
Just as we thought our investigation was coming to an end, there was a major development. We were told that another source in HT had uncovered a plot to attack a synagogue near Croydon. We can't confirm this as we did not have direct access to this source, but firebomb materials were found in this patch of woodland. When we tried to investigate, plainclothes police turned up within minutes, and they confirmed that a police inquiry is underway.
During our investigation, we spoke to many mainstream Muslims from up and down the country who were deeply unhappy about the activities of Hizb ut-Tahrir, the Islamic political movement. Tony Blair tried to ban the organisation a year ago for its extremist stance, so it therefore may come as something of a shock to learn that one of its leaders in South London is paid for by the taxpayer and employed by central government.
Community leaders told us that one of HT's key local figures, Abid Javed, works for the Immigration and Nationality Department in Croydon. Senior members of the local mosque say he's attended meetings to discuss HT activity.
One day he gave me his card, his introductory card, with his contact number on it, and it shows that he works in the Home Office. He also himself mentioned he works in the Home Office.
To think that there is a senior radical at work inside the Home Office in a very, very sensitive area is appalling.
We telephoned Abid Javed to ask him about his work with Hizb ut-Tahrir. He denied being a big HT leader, but said he is involved. When I asked him if he thought his work with an Islamist organisation promoting an end to democracy was somewhat ironic, the line went dead.